Record. All right. Well, Stacy, thank you for being here with me. I know you're busy and this is the day after Thanksgiving. Did your Thanksgiving go well?
It did. It did.
Good.
We had to have two Thanksgivings, two different meals. So I'm gonna try to get through this without the dog barking. So let's
That's okay. That's okay if it does. I might have a couple of noises myself. So it's not my quiet home that I'm usually in. I'm out of town. But I wanted to get on here because you've been with me since June, I think, is when we started. You started working with me, and it is now November, and end of November, and I wanted to do this for a long time with you because it's just been such an amazing journey that you've had, and I've loved being on this with you. And I wanted to share this because I do think that your story is going to really resonate with a lot of people who may have had, things not work for them in the past, or, just fails, or fear, or all of the above, that's stopping them from really tapping into that part of them that they want to improve with, the health and fitness, which is all encompassing, right? It's the mindset, all of that stuff. So just tell us who you are, tell us what you do, and a little bit about you.
Well, I'm in Southwest Florida, Naples, Fort Myers area. I am 56 years old, just turned 56 in September. I I have a wellness company that I created for animals, specifically horses and dogs, and some cats, but um, and I kind of what brought me to this whole thing was, when you okay, let's say I have a wellness company, right?
Mhm.
You kind of I started seeing pictures of myself and I was like, well, that doesn't look very well.
Mhm.
um, I wanted to I was embarrassed of my pictures, quite frankly.
Mhm.
So that's really what kind of got me started.
Yeah.
And when you get in your 50s or 40, whatever, it doesn't matter what age anymore.
Right.
um you know Things start to go a little south, and
Yeah.
that was happening, and I'd had some surgeries a couple years ago, and I've always been an active person, but it just wasn't working anymore.
Right.
What I knew before just wasn't working.
Right.
So
So, how did you come across my program, and what made you reach out for that?
well, Amy, your journey with
A
Amy,
client, right? Yeah.
you had that on Facebook, and so did she. And I was friends with her through the horse world and the new skin world.
Mhm.
And I was watching her journey, and I was like, wow, I mean, that's amazing. And in all honesty, when you see friends come up, when you're looking at other people's stuff, you see, their friends,
Sure.
and that black and white picture of you came up, and I mean, it caught my interest immediately because I was like, wow, that's pretty impressive. So the combination together is what kind of got me hooked.
Yeah.
And then I sent you a friend request, and you accepted it, and then I started watching your lives, honestly. And you just, I mean, so much of your story and your background and things resonated with me um, a lot. So and then what's so funny, I feel like a kind of a stalker now.
Well, then
I
I
just
am
kept,
on. We all
I,
are.
I kind of just kept, I mean, every time you did a live, I was like looking forward to your lives, honestly.
Oh,
And I was like,
did not know that.
yeah. And I mean, you just really came across as somebody who was trustworthy and um, just really knew your shit.
Hmm.
You knew what you were talking about. And, I've honestly watched every single Facebook V shred, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
I've seen every single one of those that come up as sponsored, and
Mhm.
I've bought so many, just spent 29 bucks here, spent 30 bucks there, thinking I was going to get the answer. And that's just not how it goes. It's just not how it goes. And of course they're all like, well, join my, if you join my program, join my program. And I just would never do it. I was just scared. I was like, it's not the right fit. It's just not
Right.
the right fit.
So what,
So
so what made you choose to do the program eventually with me having all of that apprehension with these other ones? You still pulled the trigger with my program, right?
I did because, I mean, in all honesty, I was one of those people, I'll never do that. I will never put myself out there like that. I will never, ever, ever be on Facebook and all that stuff. I just,
Yeah.
I thought there's no way I can't do that. I just can't do it because what if I fail?
Right.
What if I fail in front of everybody? So I just, kept avoiding it, avoiding it, avoiding it, but something kept drawing me back to this one. I honestly, I mean, that's the best way I can explain it. I just was drawn to it.
So
So
that's awesome. I mean, I think there's a lot to be said about that. Some people it's just they resonate, and it definitely goes to show with our working together that that's very true. We have developed a great friendship and bond through this process, and I always love, talking with you. We can talk for hours, honestly, and it's just so it's such an honor to have been a part of all of this and still continuing on. Let me ask you this, since you've seen other programs on Facebook and all of that, which I've seen all of those same ones, what did you expect? And then what did you get? And if it was different?
well, what always kept me from pulling the trigger was what you expect is, well, that word accountability.
Mm-hmm.
That word accountability, I think, is a trigger for a lot of people. It was for me too. Like I already said, what if I fail? I don't want to be accountable for that.
Right.
And that that word, really scares, I think, a lot of people. But so what I expected was, oh, okay, you didn't lose 2 pounds this week. Well, hammer's coming down on you, and that's not what I got at all. I mean, I never got that.
Yeah.
You're just not that kind of person. And that some people just don't resonate with that kind of
Coaching. I mean,
right,
yeah.
coaching. And
I
I'm one of those people, I don't resonate with that. So
no.
I always felt like I was going to be in trouble if something didn't go the right way. If my results weren't impressive all the time.
Right.
Um, but it's exactly the opposite. And quite frankly, I mean, I was comfortable through the whole entire thing. I'm still am. I mean, I'm still
Yeah.
here.
And you
um,
had amazing
so
results. Your experience and the results that you've gotten. What has been the difference in that? Because we kind of always focus on the number on that scale, right? And was that something that you focused on in the beginning, and how did that journey go for you?
well, I've always been a slave to the scale.
Right.
Um, the last 10 years, I've been a slave to the scale. I mean, my husband used to always comment on my mood in the morning because he could tell, like, if I gained 2 pounds on the scale, he'd be like, that just ruins your day.
Oh
I'm
yeah.
like, well, I work really hard. I mean, I work out every day. You know that. I mean, and I've been doing that for the past 30 years.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but the scale was I mean, that was it. And I kept gaining and losing the same 3 pounds for the last 5 years, in all honesty.
Mm-hmm.
And when you work that hard and you don't see it on the scale,
Mm-hmm.
you say, well, screw it. You
Right.
know, I'll go eat whatever I want to eat because it's
Right.
not working anyway. And
Right.
it must be my hormones. It must be, you blame everything else. But and then you just have this block, like I mean, it really does rule your life. It really
Vicious
does.
cycle. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just a vicious cycle, and the depression and the mindset, the mind, screw that we get is debilitating at times, and it just kind of gets you stuck. And so do you know what your numbers are? Do you know what results you have off the top of your head? I
Uh,
do.
well, I kind of vaguely, but I mean, I don't remember them specifically. But
So your
You know,
results, you've lost a little over 5 pounds,
yeah,
but
that's
but
woohoo.
27.5 inches. Like, the scale, yes, is a tool, right? We got to use it to measure a little bit of, okay, our measurements are here, the scale's here, our measurements went down, the scale didn't really move a whole lot. That's kind of cool because our measurements are really a truer, accurate depiction of what our body composition really is. The scale, just measures your relationship to gravity. So that
Yeah,
I'm glad that. How do you feel now about the scale? I mean, do you even, does it trigger you anymore?
I still step on it every day because I feel like sometimes, like when I have a cheat day and stuff, I don't want it to get out of hand, you
Sure.
know? So I do use it still as a tool. However, it does not depress me. It does not upset me.
Mhm.
It doesn't affect me. It doesn't affect my mood.
Yeah.
Um,
It's like a tool,
and
like a checkpoint.
it's a check-in. It's a
Yeah.
check-in.
Yeah.
And so the other thing is, it's the pictures that, and
Mhm.
everybody's going to be like, oh God, but um, and I was the same way, oh
Yeah.
God, I don't want to see that.
Those
But
that first one's the hardest, isn't it?
yeah, oh God, that stinks. Um, but that's what you have to face, I think, also to take on a challenge like this. You have to face it. You have to look at it. You have to see it.
Yeah.
Um, and then, after the 12 weeks and you think you take these pictures every week and you're like, I don't see anything, but you keep on going. And then, at the end of the whole thing, you see the before and afters. And when that's what did it for me, I was like,
Oh.
oh my God. Um,
No.
wow.
Every time I
Um,
got your check-in, I was like,
yeah.
anybody around me would be like, "What's wrong?" I'm like, it was so
So yeah.
obvious, like such a transformation. Like, that do you feel confident now? Do you feel good in your
Oh
own
yeah.
skin?
Yeah. Bathing. I live in Florida. We're out in it all the time. And I am, a sun person. I hate to admit it, but I am. And bathing suits are a part of my world. And
Mhm.
I have for the last 10 years, I've been dreading the bathing suit every single time I put it on. But I love the water and the beach so much that I'm like, I got to do it.
Yeah.
Um, and then we went on a surprise vacation a month ago, and I was out there in my bathing suit and I was like, I feel pretty darn good. I feel much better than I have in 10 years, more than 10 years, more
Yeah.
than 10 years. The bathing suit's always a trigger for me.
Sure.
Um,
Yeah.
so, but yeah,
How did
I
you
mean,
vacation differently? Like, I remember a conversation we had after you got back from the vacation that was so wonderful. Like, you reported back, like what you used to do before on vacation and when you got back and how you felt versus this last one. It was a very different experience.
it was pretty mind altering, wasn't it? I mean,
Yeah.
um, I'm not one that shares a lot of my feelings and stuff, like I don't, I keep a steady pace all the time. Um, but when I came back from vacation, I felt so good. I got on the scale
Mhm.
and I think it was like 2 pounds or something. I don't know,
Yeah.
maybe three. I don't remember. But and I was like, okay, whatever. All I have to do is eat clean for the next 3 days, and that'll go away.
Yeah.
Um, and I think I called you or
Yeah.
texted you or something, and I was like, this is the first time in my whole entire life that I have not been a slave to that scale after a vacation and feeling well, you feel guilty having fun, and that's not
Mhm.
what life's about. I mean, it's not supposed to be that way. So, but I went into it also. I didn't go hog wild on vacation. I just kept it what I wanted something, I had it.
Mhm.
If I didn't need it, I didn't need it. So,
I like that.
that was, yeah, I mean, honestly, if you can, like, we have our little hacks that we do and things like that, just like some skinny pop or whatever.
Mhm.
Have that instead of a whole big hamburger or something. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
there's things you can do still on vacation to still have fun, but not be worried about it. So that
Yeah.
helped a lot too. And that's what this program has taught me, how to, I'm still liking what I'm eating,
Yeah.
but I'm not eating a greasy cheeseburger either, you
Yeah.
know? So, and this is the first vacation I didn't have stomach issues either. So that's another one that made me feel very, very happy because, my past, I've had a lot of stomach problems. So, that really was another, but yeah, I was just as happy as could be. And I enjoyed my 3 days and,
Yeah.
didn't worry about it. Just didn't worry about it. And my husband, I mean, he just notices it. He notices the change huge because obviously he lives with me every day.
Yeah.
And as I told you before, like that would always dictate my mood.
Mhm.
And that's just really sad when you think about that, is that, you know, if that's if that's what you got on your mind, there's much bigger fish to fry in the world than worrying about the scale.
Yeah. Well, it's a sustainable process, and you learn how to find that balance. You learn how to live life in the midst of your life. I mean, you are on the road all the time, which not everybody does that for their job, but you found a way, and that to me really spoke a lot, that how bad you wanted it, and you still were able to get in your macros, get in your workouts, still see your clients. I mean, you're in the car how much a day? 8 hours a day, 6 hours a day? I mean,
It's
eh,
6 to 8 hours a day, 6 days a week. Yeah.
yeah, and
Yeah.
you were still able to get these results, and that's what to me is, and the whole coming back home from that vacation and not being freaked out over that 3 pounds tells me you are empowered. You're empowered to have control over your own life and your body, and your health and wellness is destiny, and you're capable of achieving anything, whatever goal you set, even from this point on, and your goals just keep getting further down, further down. We like reach that one. Okay, what's next? What's next? And that's what's so kind of kept us working together, because it's just like, ooh, what more can we do? Would you do it again? Would you do it all over again?
I already am doing. Yeah, I'm still doing it. I mean, this is that's the other thing too. When we talked originally, I said, I don't want some quick result thing. I want to be able to live my life
Yeah.
and be happy during this process and not feel um, restricted and worried about it. And I think that's why it was so successful, is because that's what you gave me. I mean, I was eating 1,100 calories a day when we first spoke
Yeah.
and gaining weight. Yes. And so, for, the first I had COVID, which was, I mean, I had every excuse under the sun not to do this. But and then you gave me 1,500 calories, and I was like, "Are you kidding me? Um,
Still not a lot.
this isn't gonna work." But I mean, that is the mentality that society has done, to us. I feel.
Right.
Um, so yeah, I'm gonna. I mean,
You
I
can imagine having 1,100 calories now.
no. Well, we tried that, and I wasn't happy. So
The
um,
carb cycle reset. We did a carb cycle reset, and those low carb days just, ooh, did not like those, did you?
no, no.
And that's
No,
the
I realized that part of my bad mood was lack of food and lack of carbs, I think.
Yeah,
And maybe the reason why I wasn't getting results in my workouts is because there was no carbs in there.
no energy, no
Yeah.
no fuel, nothing to fuel you, nothing to recover you, nothing to do any kind of, that process, just dead in the water. When we don't
Yeah.
carbs are not bad. They're not bad. They're great. I love carbs. The right carbs, right?
Right. Right.
How and you've shared a little bit throughout just talking, but is there anything else you'd like to, I don't know, express on how you've grown in this process in any way?
I
I
think
know.
I've grown a lot, mentally. I have aging parents in my life at this point. And that's another thing that we discussed in the beginning, and that's one of the reasons why another reason why I did this is because I didn't want to be too sick to be taking care of the ones that really needed, you know,
Yeah.
the help. And so mindset, I know, people say it every day, but it has changed it has changed the whole way I wake up in the morning. It's changed the way I live my day.
Mm,
It has changed the way I support my family and other people now. And it's just changed my mental state a lot
mhm,
to know that, okay, if you can do something like this, then you can pretty much do anything. You can handle things that I didn't think I was going to be able to handle,
mhm.
because the weight was bringing me down in more ways than one. So um I just I'm much more open to things now. um I'm a happier person, so I think I give off more
Mm,
positive energy
mm,
to my clients and to my family. And it just, when you have more confidence, I think you look for more challenges,
mhm.
so or you take them more in stride, I guess, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah,
So
I think the growth I've seen in you has just been your positive your energy is very different. Your mindset, it's the thing that is between our ears, that is the thing we have to conquer, and the fact that you approved yourself through all the things that since June you have experienced. I mean, the hurricane, and there's been a lot of stuff going on, and that you've been able to sustain this through just life. Life happens. You can't wait for it to be the perfect scenario because it's never going to come. So just part of life. And so like just saying, I'm gonna do this, and it's all about progress and not perfection, and being proud of what you've done, knowing you can even grow deeper and do more. It's a great space to be in, like you said, that confidence you've in yourself. And then it just bleeds into your relationship with other people and your job. So what would you tell someone, who may have been where you were in regards to, the fear of starting such a process? What would you say to them?
um I would say find the right person to
Mhm.
do it with, because I feel the same way with with what I do for a living. um Sometimes you relate to people, sometimes you don't, but most of the time I do. But um they looked for somebody that they can trust.
Mhm.
And I think you need to find somebody that is going to lift you up and not beat you down during
Mhm.
the process. um Somebody that makes you feel safe with whatever. Because what one of the things in your program is, I mean, this is going to trigger some stuff.
Sure.
This is going to bring some stuff to the table. And that's what it's supposed to do. That's what
Yeah.
it's supposed to do. So
Mhm.
you don't have to be as afraid of it um as a lot of people are in the beginning. Because you know like I said, I would never have done a program before.
Mhm.
And I just felt like, because I just would never have been heard.
Right.
I
Yeah.
would have been a number, maybe, not a person, you know. And so I would say, take one day at a time. Take the leap of faith when you find the right program.
Mhm.
um and be kind to yourself. Be kind to yourself through this whole thing, because it isn't easy, but it doesn't have to be super hard either.
No, and it's worth it. And that's something I've noticed you've done also. If you've been a lot kinder to yourself, you've given yourself so much more self-care, love, time, appreciation, all of the things that we neglect to give ourselves, we give to others, and then we feel very empty because we don't fill ourselves up with that ourselves. So I just love working with you because you show up, and I think that's, like you said, it just take one day at a time, and you just show up as you are. And there were days you were like, I'm not showing up real great. I'm like, but you're here.
And
You're here. And that is a win.
yeah,
On our support calls, we always talk about our wins and what are they. And some were harder to find than others at times. And it's just this ebb and flow process, but that relationship and um that accountability, but it's a different kind of accountability than I think we put on that word. It's wanting to that pride, to be proud of yourself and someone to, be safely heard, I think is also very motivating, because if we just go through this process without dealing with the stuff up here, I mean, that is a manifestation of what's going on externally. And we've talked a lot about that. So it's just been such a joy. I appreciate you hopping on and sharing. And I know you're not a sharer, so I have so appreciated that. But
I'm getting better. I'm getting better. I'm getting
you're
better.
doing great. I just really want to get your story out, because I think so many people feel exactly like you. And I just want them to hear how positive and how amazing of a process that you've taken and the results you've gotten. It's just, they're going to go with you forever. Even if we don't continue working with each other, whatever years down the road, you're going to have these tools and everything forever, which is been my mission and goal. So I appreciate you so much.
Well, I appreciate you. And the other thing that I really liked about this whole situation was, the other day you mentioned it on a call, was, you really try to set up a private situation for your gals.
Mhm.
Um, you really do have it a safe place for anybody to say whatever they want to say. And I think that's, a very important factor in this whole thing, because if you feel like you're going to be out on display,
Right.
that's scary all in itself. And like you said, I'm not a big sharer, but um, I always did feel like this was a safe place to land. I really did. So that helped a lot.
That is so good to hear. Thank you for that feedback. And I appreciate you so much. This has been
I
so
appreciate
awesome.
it too.
Continue to be awesome. I can't wait. So, well, I'll let you get back to your day. I know you got lots of stuff going on and horses to heal, pets to take care of. Oh, so thank you so much. It was so good to hear your story, and I can't wait to share it with everyone.
Well, thank you.
Thank you, Stacy.
Have a good
Bye.
evening.
You too.